High ticket closing is one of the most valuable skills when it comes to increasing your earning potential. But I know it can be a little confusing to understand exactly what it is and whether or not it's something you should be interested in. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the breakdown of everything you need to know about high ticket closing. Now, before we go ahead and get started, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's go ahead and dive in. Now, to quickly explain what high ticket closing is essentially when somebody has to talk to someone over the phone or in person before they can actually close a deal. Now, so let me go ahead and explain how this all works. So there's gonna be something called a value ladder. Now, I first heard of this concept from a couple of marketers, Russell Brunson and Perry Marshall, but I'll go ahead and explain it to you here. So essentially what you got is a ladder or maybe like a staircase where a company builds a relationship with their customer. And as they build a better and better relationship, the customer is going to go up their value ladder and spend more money with them. So for the example of our value ladder, let's go ahead and use Starbucks as an example. Now, when it comes to Starbucks, right, there's different levels of how much money someone can spend. So if you buy, let's say a cup of coffee, let's say it's gonna be like $4, okay? So people go and buy a coffee, they don't really need to talk to a sales rep, they'll just say, hey, can I get a cappuccino? And they buy it, right? The next phase of that is Starbucks is going to maximize the amount of money they can make per customer. So if you ever notice when you're walking in a coffee shop, whether it's Starbucks or anybody else, they're gonna sell you what? Beans, right? So if you're buying beans, it might cost $10 per bag. So the idea is that if you're buying Starbucks coffee, there's a chance you'll buy Starbucks beans, right? So that means the company is maximizing the value of that customer. But if you look around Starbucks, you kind of see that they're gonna sell you more things. They might have different cups for you to drink your coffee at home. They might have different tools to make your coffee at home, right? Sometimes they have a pour over drip or maybe a French press, and these can get a little more expensive. So let's say it goes up to $50, right? So essentially when somebody goes into Starbucks and they wanna buy a cappuccino, they're gonna spend that $4. But when they look around, they might buy the coffee beans. They look around a little bit more, they might buy something like the cups and mugs and things to make coffee at home. So now the Starbucks is not making $4 from the person, they might make, all these combined $64 for that one customer. Now, all these things may happen without actually having to talk to a sales rep. The person goes into Starbucks, they see what they want to buy and they just buy it. So where does high ticket sales come in? Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Starbucks actually also sells high-end espresso machines. And I believe they can cost maybe $1,000. Right? And most people don't really know about this because most people aren't gonna be the person that spends $1,000 on an espresso machine to make espressos at home. But there's always gonna be a person that's interested in going up this value ladder and they really are big fans of Starbucks and they're willing to spend the money. So these people are gonna spend $1,000, maybe more, on an espresso machine to make Starbucks quality coffee at home. Now, where high ticket sales comes in is that when you're at this point, you might actually need a salesperson to come in and actually talk to the customer. So for the previous examples, if you are selling coffee beans, maybe cups and mugs and things like that, you don't need to talk to a salesperson. You just see it, you buy it, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're gonna spend $1,000 or more on an espresso machine, you probably do want to talk to a person to make sure it's the right purchasing decision for you because you don't want to spend $1,000 on something that is not the good fit, right? So whether you're selling espresso machines or any other products and services, for example, coaching or consulting, high-end events, maybe a car, right? These are all situations where you need a salesperson to talk to the customer before they make that buying decision. And that's essentially what high ticket closing is. High ticket closing, all that really means is you're selling something that's generally more expensive where you need to talk to another human being before they make a buying decision. And when it comes to high ticket closing, all you're doing is closing a deal. Essentially, it's just another word for a sales rep. Salespeople have been around for hundreds of years, so technically, anybody who's selling something expensive is a high ticket closer because they're closing high ticket deals. But in this day and age, the definition of a high ticket closer, usually it's a little more specific. You see from the example I have here, The people that are gonna buy this espresso machine, they went all the way up this value ladder. Over the course of days, months, or years, Starbucks or whatever the company is has already built a warm relationship with that customer, right? If that customer is coming in every other day to buy Starbucks coffee, they really trust Starbucks. So by the time that person is ready to spend that $1,000 on that espresso machine, they have already been a fan of Starbucks for so long. So that salesperson or that high ticket closer who comes in and sells that thing, it's a lot easier because you're selling something to someone who already wants it, they're already warm, and they're highly likely to buy. Otherwise, they would have never even got to this step. That's very different from, let's say, cold calling, right? For example, if you cold call somebody, they have no idea who you are, they don't know what you sell, so it's a little more difficult to get them to buy your products and services. But if someone has already built a relationship with your company over multiple years or months or days, then when you get to this point and they're ready to buy, the sale is a lot easier. So for high ticket closing in this day and age, usually all you're really doing is you're trying to find other companies who have this process already built out, and you just want to be that individual that is placed right here. They're going to give you all these customers, all these leads, and all you have to do is take the warm meetings and convince that person to buy their products and services. So once you actually get on the phone as a high ticket closer and you're trying to close somebody, this is essentially what you're doing, right? You want to think it metaphorically, you want to think of it like this. Okay, so this is pretty much, these are cliffs, right? That's the water. So essentially, what a high ticket closer does is they're saying, all right, the customer you have is over here, right? This is point A. They want to get to point B, right? Whatever that situation is. So let's say they don't have an espresso machine, they can't make quality coffee at home. If they get over here, they have an espresso machine and they can get quality coffee at home, right? Or let's say you're selling a high-end fitness program, right? Someone might be overweight and not healthy, and they want to become healthy. So all you're doing as a high-ticket closer is you're saying, okay, look, you're here in point A, you want to get to point B, but you're not really sure how to cross this gap. I have some kind of product or service, right? That's where you come in, that will help you get from point A to point B, right? And your product or service, it could literally be anything that helps them. It could be the bridge that gets them across. Maybe you got, like a little helicopter and get them over, right? It doesn't really matter how you get them to the other side, as long as it's cost effective, they see the value, and they can get results relatively quick, people are going to want to buy your products and services. So as a high ticket closer, it's not necessarily like you're forcing someone to buy your products and services, right? It's not like a hardcore sales kind of job. It's more like understanding your customer, where are they currently, where do they want to go, and how does your product and service help them get from point A to point B. And because they're already so warm, it's a lot more easier just to show them like, hey, look, I can get you over here. Do you want to buy or not? And a lot of times that is pretty much what it takes. So that's going to be high ticket closing in a nutshell. If you enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let me know in the comments if high ticket closing is something you are interested in. And one more thing, if you are interested in high ticket closing or maybe sales in general, or you want to start your sales career, I actually created a free in-depth training. To get access to that training, all you gotta do is click the link in the description and it's gonna take you there. So with that said, my name is Patrick Ding and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.